So today in the rolls, I rolled against this guy who's visiting, I think from London, because he had a Hadra Gracie. Guion actually did not like rolling or training with him. When we were drilling, he was like very soft, just like we were doing half guard, so he was just kind of floppy, and it was not like, I don't know. It was hard to do anything because it was like all available. I wasn't sure if I was doing something right or it was just open anyway. So it was a little annoying. The rolls, he was like a little spazzy and like very constrictive, like I don't know, yeah, constrictive, and doing body locks and stuff. And it's just very like isometric strength. So that wasn't very comfortable, and I couldn't do anything. And then I just tap, and then he would be tired for like 30 seconds, and then we'd reset. And then, so I think he actually only did one round after me. He was like too tired, so I don't know, whatever. The rest of the rolls were very heavy today. Everyone's bigger than me that I rolled with, I think. So just pretty tiring. Fish caught me in like a toe hold, which I've never encountered before. He was trying to give me a straight ankle lock, so I managed to get out of that, and then he had my foot and he put me in a toe hold. So that was pretty interesting. Well, Tristan, he's actually getting really good at stapling. So as soon as he passes you, he's like stapling an arm. So that was pretty interesting. I mean, and well, first of all, it's very powerful because he's using a leg to control an arm, so there's no way I can get it out. And then it's usually not a position you're in very frequently, so you don't know what's going on. And then, yeah, so it's like a huge advantage for him when he can do that. And then I was talking to Tim after, and so my idea of framing, or like my, I guess, default framing has been wrong this whole time. I've been pushing on my frame. I think that's just like an instinctual response, is to push and try to create space for the frame. The frame is a passive frame. So what you're doing is you have the frame, and then you're backing that frame up with support. So you're framing with your forearm, and your elbow is supported by your knee, right? So your arm is taking the weight of the opponent, but it's also your knee, your whole leg is, because your knee is connected to your elbow. As an example, where I've been framing is taking all the weight on my forearm and then pushing against it in order to keep the opponent away from me, which is not good because you're just getting tired out. Also, suppose I'm not using my forearm, suppose I'm on wrist, then that's an opportunity to get it wrist locked. So this is what I realized also against Nate and against Christian, is that they do this pressure passing where they just sort of lean all your weight on there and just chill, wait for you to get tired. And then once you get tired, they just take up that little space that you give up. So I'm like framing and pushing against them, and then I get tired, so then I like adjust slightly, and maybe I give up an inch. And now all they do is sort of like lean into that, so they take up that inch. And now I'm in like the same position except worse, right? Because before, maybe my arm was like, my tricep was like fully extended. Like my upper arm is perpendicular. Now it's like slightly at an angle, so now I'm using more muscle. And so once I give up an inch, like I'm just gonna lose ground slowly. So the proper way is to frame using, something to support, and then you can just sort of rest there all day, or you can figure out something else to do. Obviously, that's a better idea than just winging it all day. But yeah. So today we started off with a throw uichi gama, gara gama. It is the opposite of Osata ga. I don't even remember that one. Osata gama or Osata gara? I think gama. So this is uichi gama. So Osata gara or gama, whatever it is when let's say we're going left. So let's say your left hand has an elbow grip, same side, and your right hand has same side lapel grip. Then you twist the collars, or you square them up, and then twist the collar, and then step outside, and then your right leg goes behind their right knee, and you throw that way. That's Osata gara. Uichi gama gara is you're going to the right. So you still have the same grips. Left hand on elbow, right hand on lapel. Square up, and then you square up. Then your left foot comes to your right foot, and then you turn the lapel and elbow clockwise, so you're putting the weight on his left foot. Then your right foot goes in between the legs, and then you fall into him. So you want to you're not just like scooping the leg and hoping he falls, you're actually falling into him. So the goal is to get into closed guard, which isn't ideal because it's like a neutral. Now you got to get out of closed guard, but you know that you're going to closed guard before he does, and then he's also falling onto the mat, so it's going to take him like half a second to recover from that. So that's the point of it. So some details. So let's see. Okay, so when you square up, Jason said that you don't want to square him up with the result of both of you being squared up to each other. You want him to be squared up, and you want to be in stance. So before you square him up, let's say you have right foot lead. You want to move your right foot slightly more to the center, and then square him up. And you want to square him up only by twisting your hips, not by like I learned it by taking a step with your left foot forward and then bringing him across. But then both your stances will be square to each other. So the way that Jason showed it, by taking a small step with your right foot to the center, then and then squaring him up, you maintain your stance and you make his stance flat. Secondly, when you do that, you kind of want to pull them into you, because you are stepping into him to reap his leg. So you want that step, you don't want to make that step big, because the further you have to go, like the more exposed you are. So as you're squaring up, you kind of want to pull them into you. So now you're still in stance with your foot kind of like in between his feet or maybe a little bit further. So then you bring your left foot to your right foot. So you bring your left foot in. And as you turn the lapels, and then you reap the knee and fall forward. So 2 things that should work for all throws is keeping your stance while you fly them out, and that should also go for guard pulls. And also maneuvering him as you square him up. So you're not just squaring him up like weird, but you can use squaring up as opportunity to improve the positioning of where you want to go. Okay, so that was from stand up. Then the rest of the class we worked on passing half guard again. One detail was you want to bring your weight across his hips to flatten him out. So yesterday with Fabio, we kind of worked on getting the shoulders flat on the ground, and then passing from there. So this style was more flying the hips out and then progressing from there. So the way Fabio did it was that you get the shoulders down, and then you can tripod up or get your legs across in order to pass. While Jason's method, or the way that he's teaching today, is flying the hips out, then getting control of the shoulders, and then passing. So it's like a bottom up versus top down, I guess. Let's see. Okay, so then let's see. Okay, so either way, okay, so Jason, so we did it 2 ways. One is if they have the underhook, and one is if they don't have the underhook. Either way, so if we're going from left to right, so our right leg is trapped. Their left arm can either have an underhook or not have an underhook on our right arm. Right, so those are the 2 variations that we're working with, like whether he had an underhook or whether he did not have an underhook. Okay. Either way, with your left arm, you want to get a cross face. So he will probably be framing on your left arm. So you want to swim that left arm inside. And you might have to hand fight. What you probably have to do is bring your elbow in and then go up the center of his chest or something like that. So you want to get that arm through inside of his arm so he can't frame on you. So that's one detail. The second detail is going back to the hip control. You want to constantly be driving across his hips to flatten him out. So what he wants to do is he wants to be on his outside hip, just one hip, so that he's facing in and get a knee shield in. So what you want to be doing is constantly applying pressure to the top hip to roll over and flatten him out. Okay, so that's the second detail. Third detail, all right, so this is the 2 variations. First variation, he does not have an underhook. So in this case, he's probably framing on you. You want to grip his tricep and then get an underhook with your elbow on his elbow. You don't need to like a full underhook. You just need control of his left arm. So you grip the tricep and then pin your elbow and kind of underhook his elbow with your elbow. You only need like an inch or two of movement there. Then you roll forward, plant your head on the ground. You want your head right next to his head. Plant your head next to the ground and start clearing the legs. Getting all the details now. Start clearing the legs. So from that whole thing, when you plant your head on the ground across his far shoulder, you're pinning his shoulders, and then you can start tripoding up and pass it, I believe. Okay, I'll check on that. Alright, so then second variation is if he has the underhook. If he has the underhook, you want to use that underhook to actually push him back down. It's like a wizard grip. You're using it like a wizard grip. Then you take your left hand that's inside and you go cross collar that palm down. Now you can use that pressure to control him. Right, okay. Use that pressure to control him there. Then your right hand, you bring the elbow back and then under and you get down the hook there. And then you can, and then you roll forward just like the last time. Plant the head on the right side of his head. Then using the pressure of that cross collar, you move your head like a U, tracing his chin. So you're planting it on the left side now. And then I think you can switch hips and clear. Yeah. The basic methodology is to get an underhook, post your head on the opposite side of that underhook, tripod up, and try to clear the legs, trap leg with the other leg. If you can't do that, then switch hips or ride the knee across and then just try to clear the feet again. That's what the basic methodology is, both today and yesterday. And then I think the technique that Fabio taught yesterday is more, if you get the underhook right away, then you can just tripod up and go for it. And then the technique Jason taught today is just to get more control over the opponent, so you control the hips in order to control the shoulders, while the technique Fabio taught yesterday is more, if you're able to control the shoulders right away, then you can just go to that. I think that was the major difference. And then I did more Kimura control with him after that.